Hi, it's Chris from RallyNotes.com and welcome to episode 2 of the Purple Plymouth Project. Today we're going to attempt to start it. As you can see, it's a little tight in here, so we'll be moving the second gen out of the way. Thank you everyone who liked and shared episode 1. I'm really excited about this project and it helps keep me motivated. So we had some questions about the fuel tank from episode 1. Okay, so we've got the baby. This is an old one out of an old car. And if you look, there's actually the newer models have a larger opening. So this is the first gen to like 97, I think, had the smaller one. But the 98's got this big old, probably like 8-inch opening that you can get your hand in there and clean out any of the junk. All the junk was basically this filter. This filter had disintegrated over time, and bits of it were just in there, as well as the fuel pump itself inside here. This is what that looks like. Sits inside, pointed down with the diaphragm. It's got a little rubber gasket on it, etc. Picks up fuel. Actually sits like this, so it springs down and forces it into the bottom of the tank. It's got little rubber feet on the bottom, and the pickup is here, and then the return for the first gen version is here. But one of the things I learned is looked up a filter for the 1998 Plymouth and couldn't find one. They don't make it. And AutoZone didn't have it, O'Reilly's didn't have it, all your favorite places didn't have it. And I thought, oh no, are we to the point where we're not making replacement parts anymore? But that's not the case at all. Turns out that the newer version of this has a silver cap that has a filter and pressure regulator built into it, so we didn't need a fuel filter. What was interesting is, and props to neons.org, they had some information that reported that the little can that was in place, this again is a clean one, but for the second gen, but they had this can in place empty, so it's not a filter at all. It was just a accumulator, is what Chrysler called it, an accumulator. So that's the can I used to filter the fuel into the gas tank, which means that I didn't really filter anything. A little disappointed about that, but what it meant was I could grab a hose off of this. You don't need the accumulator in there at all, and you can just go right from the pump to the fuel line, because the filter's involved, the pressure regulator, all of that stuff is in that one assembly. We've got a lot to do. Roll the intro, and let's get this car started. Step 1 was moving the second gen out of the garage. This is our current rally car, and I should be making an update video about it pretty soon. There's a 2-car garage with a big workbench space in the back, and then there's the 2-car garage that just barely holds 2 cars. As you can see, mine's the latter. Put the battery back in. Doubt there'll be anything here, but let's see.
You need to flush the fuel line. The Neon has one pressure line and a vent line, so fuel only circulates inside the pump. I'll worry about cleaning and replacing the injectors later. I captured the fuel and dumped it in with the rest of the questionable fuel that I saved from the tank.
As expected.
Key on, in this car, primes the pump for 3 seconds. There are ways to bypass the relay and just run the pump full time, but I don't like to do that when I'm just trying to start it. 3 seconds of fuel will half fill a small container, as you'll see. I only put about 2 gallons of clean fuel back in, so the car is going to need to be totally flat in order for the pump to get to it. A remote setup for air and vacuum is pretty easy with a set of Wi-Fi outlet plugs these days. I have a 3-inch PVC pipe that runs up into the attic, and I routed that and compressed air to the center of the garage. The shop vac and compressor live in a sound deadened cabinet. This is very handy and highly recommended. This is not an ad for Costco. Since I know I added some oil the last time I started it, I had a hunch that it'd be pretty full.
Let me imagine. It's a 16? 18?
Coolant level was fine, and we'll drop that another time. So I just topped it up with some cleaner. This is not an ad for Prestone.
I think we overfilled.
Yep, overfilled. So car had about 5.5, maybe 6 quarts in it. Finally settled into this drain. Check out the puddle in the back of this shot. Oil is clean, no sparkles, no water. This is a good sign.
Oil looks pretty good, no water in it, which is really good. Still think we overfilled. Yeah.
No go getting the oil filter off by hand. Lots of old man grunting in this video, sorry. No go with the strap wrench. Dug the oil filter socket out. That seemed to work. Had a replacement filter in the spare parts bin. This is not a Fram filter ad. I've run these for years and never had a problem with them. I pre-fill and make sure the seal has clean oil on it. And then I finally smell the fuel that's been leaking for 15 minutes. It turns out that I had not completely seated the hard line to the connector. Okay, 4.5 quarts of oil in. So we've got a charged battery, fresh fuel, fresh oil and filter. Check the coolant. Nothing left to do but start it.
I love the little bits of poo that came out, and then whatever was living in the tailpipe just shot out when she started. Little poo came out. It started. It moved under its own power. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it or learned anything, give us a like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe and join us in the comments for questions. On our next episode, we're going to go a little bit more into the history, why a neon, a little origin story, a little background, and a clean out time lapse is in the works. Once we get everything out, we'll be making a giant to-do list. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the stages.